Hit it, boys!
What's up, everybody? It's the Margaritaville Podcast. How y'all doing? It is the Gypsies in the Palace edition. We're going to recap the Cincinnati show on this July leg of the tour on our day off, 2 days off here in Michigan before the Detroit show. But let's get right into this thing because we've got some cool stuff to talk about Cincinnati. Joining me, of course, as always, is Lars. Lars,
Hello.
how you doing?
I'm doing well, thank you.
Hallie.
How you doing?
And we have our MVP of security, the leader of it all, Charleston Miles, join us again. How you doing, buddy?
You're so kind.
Guys, let's just get right to it. Cincinnati on a Saturday, 50th Jimmy Buffett show at Riverbend. Holy you-know-what.
Cow. What a show.
I got on the bus after the show after, just trying to think back of everything I saw throughout that day and just the buildup of the crowd, Jimmy, everybody. And I was on the bus going, man, we've got to come back there on a Saturday.
Yeah, Saturday got to be the show because it's so...
Best show of the year so far. I'm
Oh,
sorry,
yeah.
Tampa,
Oh, yeah,
but
yeah.
that you just got
Oh, yeah.
eclipsed by Cincinnati.
I
Yes.
looked at it, Heike, and it just made me just reminisce, like, that's what all this is about. These people at Cincinnati, they get it. They're the troop, the parrothead, the whole thing.
Do you find, like, and I guess, I mean, and do you find that, listen, every city's got their hardcore fans, the fans that love the music, they love the whole idea of a Jimmy Buffett concert. It's an event. But I was thinking about this, because people say, well, Jimmy's a South Florida guy or he's a Gulf Coast guy. Yeah, but even the crowds don't get like they do like what we saw on Saturday night. And I was trying to think, okay, do you think it's relatable to like do you think it's relatable to when Springsteen does a show in New Jersey, when Jimmy hits Ohio? Honestly, or I should just at least say Cincinnati.
Yeah, at least Cincinnati, because Cincinnati just, they just all ready for it. But then...
The history, right?
Yeah.
To that culture.
Song and everything about the Cincinnati show, man. It's just like... In Palm Beach, it's not like that.
No.
And that's his hometown, just about.
Yeah.
Florida's not like that. Tampa's not like that.
No.
Tampa got a little bit, but not like that.
You could tell like they've been waiting for a Saturday show. They never complain.
We don't have nothing to do with the rotation of the schedule,
No,
Lars. You know
nothing.
that. Whatever
No.
Jimmy and management puts out, we deal with it. And Hallie knows. It goes back to when it just made me – I forgot about we played 5 shows here, and all of them sold out in the same energy.
Yes.
And, unfortunately, on the rotation, they've been getting Tuesdays and Thursdays, Heike.
Yeah.
But they still give it up on a Thursday night because we would get on the bus on a Thursday night, say it was like a Saturday show.
Yeah.
Yep.
No, it's true. And then you finally give them a full-on Saturday, and they reward Jimmy and the band with like all that energy.
All that.
Tell them about the T-shirts and the coins and everything that they went above and beyond.
Yeah. No, that's true.
Memorabilia.
So the venue crew, in security, they're all walking around with like these bright orange T-shirts. They had them all made for the show, and on the back of them, like on the front it said like 50 show Riverbend. On the back it said thank you Jimmy, 50 shows. And they're all walking around like they made their own swag just for the
Yes.
show. And then they're handing out these commemorative coins. Did you guys get one?
Yeah, gold coin.
Okay, yeah, these
I'm
commemorative
still
gold
waiting on the
coins.
appraisal to see if they're worth anything.
I know. Yeah, they almost came like in a wedding ring box. You open it up, and it's this giant gold coin with like 2 sharks, and it says, Cincinnati 50th show.
Yeah, when Tim Lamb handed it to me, I thought
Production manager.
I
huh?
thought he was a production man. I thought he was a ring, and I was getting ready to say, "Man, I don't wear jewelry." And then I looked at it. I said, "Oh, it's a coin."
It's heavy, man.
Yes.
And
And I-
on the back it says, what, in Jimmy we trust.
And I
Yeah,
gotta say,
Jimmy, we
Lord,
trust on
when
it.
I say that about if it's worth anything, just the time and effort that they put in is priceless as
Yeah.
far as money.
Yeah.
It was appreciated that they went to that level to let us know that, hey, man,
Yeah.
it's been 50 shows.
And we had an inkling that it was going to be a pretty big show.
Yeah.
They have been waiting patiently for a Saturday show. They want to really throw down. And we looked at the weather the day before going, it looks like it's going to be all right. A big storm ripped through the day before at our hotel, remember, downtown Cincinnati. We get up, and I look, and I already got a text saying there are 40 cars already out there this morning at 4:45 a.m.
Oh, my gosh.
waiting for the tailgate to open. And I went, all right, man, we better bring it all today
yeah,
because
yeah.
they definitely are. The weather stayed beautiful. And Lars, you got to go out in the tailgate. How was it?
It was fun. That was the first time I've gone out at like 9:30
Yeah.
in the morning, and it was pretty packed. And I'm glad I went early because
You were shooting some stuff for the Margaritaville.
we did some trivia
footage
game
where
show footage.
It's for the pre-roll. If you if you tune in for the live broadcast of these concerts, it starts at 7:45 p.m. We try to do some if the tailgate's going off, we try to do some footage and some interviews and just some fun stuff. And Margaritaville is kind of like a montage trivia of Jimmy
finish the
lyrics.
song lines.
Yeah.
Kind of.
And so they were already
good.
ahead of the game.
Yeah, they
weren't
were good. They knew a lot of the answers. It was a fun crowd. They were dressed up. They were ready to go. I saw a couple people sleeping under a tree. I don't know if they were just sleeping there from the night before or if they were already worn out.
That was before lunch, right?
Yeah. By 10 at least. But I was going to ask you guys, because only doing this 10 years, and it was being a Saturday show, and I think my first Saturday show, were there more boats because the backstage of the venue is on the river, and people come up with their boats, and they listen to the show from the river, which is pretty cool. But do you think there was more boats than normal?
Sometimes, I mean, like, I think with less boats.
Okay.
Because usually it'd be so many boats, you can't even see the water.
Got it.
It'd be all the way up to the edge. I walked out there, and, it was a lot of boats out there. There were still a lot of boats out there, but I think back in the day, it was more boats.
Okay.
I will say this is the most, I mean, there were a lot of boats out there, and they started around 9:30. And as the day progressed, more and more arrived, but they were really organized this year. Like, they were all tying
in
off.
line. That's true.
It looked like they were hiding docks, the way they were all lined up the way they were. Like, it was a big
I think it's
boat
the
community.
Saturday show, too, because when we used to do Saturday shows like Hallie said, you couldn't even see the water.
Right.
So I think if we, fortunately, I hope Jimmy and them felt that energy and they book another Saturday show. Because, during the week that everybody's working, Saturday you off. But getting back to Lars going in that park lot, me and Hallie was doing a dry run. We passed him and Tom.
Now, just so people know, what's a dry run for you guys, just so the folks at home know?
Me and Hallie, we usually go out, we'll drive around to survey the perimeter of the property, the venues that we're playing. And sometimes we'll pass Lars coming in and out, but we passed him this time, and this is the only time he and Tom stopped, and he was excited explaining to us the energy that was out there, and we were like, "Oh, here we go, get ready." Lars was like, "Get ready, guys."
Yeah, you're gonna be busy.
You never tell us that. You know what I mean?
I know. I didn't even say that in Dallas.
I know, right?
That's true, man.
Yeah.
To say Jimmy felt the energy, I thought it was crazy because we don't get, from my perspective, I don't get to see much of the show because we're kind of monitoring. We get to see it online because we're monitoring the Facebook feed, the YouTube feed, and everything. And his lead up to Finn's. What was that, like 3 minutes? It seemed like forever.
Well, here's the situation. I think we were talking about this on the bus too, because Charleston, you and Hallie kind of knew from sound check what Jimmy was going to do, and it got all changed, right?
Right.
So at one point during the day, someone from downtown, like mayor's office or whatever, they had this huge like leather-bound like Jimmy Buffett proclamation for the city of Cincinnati.
Wow.
I got to just see little clips of it. I didn't get to read all of it, but it was, it was beyond just having it honorary Jimmy Buffett Day. It was like it was a documentation made by the city's government to explicitly describe the importance of the parrot head culture, Margaritaville as a lifestyle, parrot heads and their membership to the community, and Jimmy Buffett's meaning to the city of Cincinnati.
It came when it came in a leather case with like a custom embroidery. It had like it was stamped. It had everything but maybe a hologram on it to show that it was an official document.
Yeah, it looked like something out of like a CIA briefcase. and I'm okay, cool. So I was told, listen, I was given it to by our tour manager. Hey, Jimmy wants to kind of talk about this at some point, I think during Bing and Bong. So I held on to it, and I didn't. I gave it to Mike Mooney for the Bing and Bong show, but I don't know if it got.
They read it.
They read it.
Mike Mooney read it.
But then leading up to Finn's, which is about in the middle of the show. What was the idea at Soundcheck? He was going to just kind of read a little bit of it and then go right into Finn's? You guys remember what was supposed to happen? Because that's not what happened.
Yes.
What happened was way more amazing.
Yeah, I think he supposedly had read some of it and then go right into Finn's, but he made his own little version of it. Like his own self.
Yeah, so he was going to I guess wouldn't be the music, like no music.
No.
Right.
He was just say, okay, before we get into this next
Yep.
song, I'm gonna read this thing to you. The show at that point was turning into like a Baptist church ceremony with like gospel. Like this
know,
whole thing
Hanky,
was
that
going on to a spiritual
If
level.
they had
Yeah.
a format that we were going to do the show by, at that time, the energy, Jimmy's a spontaneous person. All y'all know that. And at that point, the energy level it's more like when you sing a cappella or when you sing and you get that other voice and everybody gets together and then another voice is created. The energy takes him over and he goes into his own world.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. So it was they were going to go into Fins, and then all of a sudden it was just the band just started going into Fins,
Fins.
like kind of like building up to it, like. You know when you hear like dun 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 dun.
yeah.
Well, they couldn't help themselves, and Jimmy couldn't. So Jimmy just decides like to read the whole entire thing, and he's talking louder and louder and louder as the song's building up until it reaches the point where they kick in the percussion, and it was just this, like it blew the roof off the amphitheater.
You couldn't rehearse it.
No, it was just.
It's just,
Should I pull that clip, and does that have to be on YouTube?
I think you should. I think we pull that clip. We'll put it on Margaritaville
'cause I need
YouTube
to see it.
page. Yeah,
Yeah.
I want to see it again because that was amazing. I mean, just the whole song.
It'll
Cincinnati.
be Fins from Cincinnati.
Because
You have to check it out.
and of course, you've got our normal crew guys who may be stuck in an office during most of the show. They come out to hear them all scream. She came down from Cincinnati.
Right.
And you guys, I mean, through earplugs and all, it's just
it was still loud.
yeah, so loud.
Yeah.
And getting back to when you had mentioned the Parrot Heads, and I just wanted to say something on the podcast that in Jimmy's name, how they represent his brand, they do so much nonprofit work and work in the community, and we appreciate that. So I just wanted to give a big shout out for the Cincinnati Parrot Head Club. You know what I mean? Go ahead, Hanky.
And I think a standing ovation. And I'm sure that I saw Jimmy giving love back to that audience because there were times he would look off to the side of the stage or band members with a smile on his face, like, "Can you believe this?" Like, because it's always a special show.
He did
in
behavior
Cincinnati.
he never did before. You remember over by Hallie?
Yeah.
Oh,
so,
go ahead.
So no, yeah, no. So two things happened. At one point during the show, you're getting towards the end of the show. I remember he yelled out on the microphone, "Y'all ain't going anywhere," and the crowd went nuts because
I
he's
didn't hear
like,
that.
"No way, I'm not letting this energy go.
No, we're gonna
right?
ride this out."
We're gonna ride this out." And you could tell on the smile he was so flattered and touched because of just the amount of energy and patience that has been built up to finally have a Saturday show. That he was just like, God dang, I forgot what a Saturday night was like
What's like here.
Because
I
it's
know.
like really opening it up. And going to Charleston's point, I came out, I wanted just to see like close to the encores, right? And it was Brown Eyed Girl.
Brown Eyed Girl.
So it goes into
The solo.
Eric Darkin's percussion solo.
Mhm.
Jimmy's dancing. He's going from side to stage more than normal.
Never.
Just wants everyone to he wants to feel close to them and them to feel close to him.
All right.
He goes down to Hallie's side, stage left. He just starts, I don't know where he got the Sharpie from. What happened?
What happened is that he came on my side. And you're like, usually he come on my side. He just play a little bit, and look at the crowd and nods them. So I'm just standing there watching the crowd. So he looked at me and did his head like this. And so I
Like
knew
what? Like he'll kicked his head to the right, like
he
kind of
kicked
like.
head to the right. So I knew that people wanted to get the autograph. So
Okay.
I walked over there and grabbed the guy, guitar, and then he started. And the Sharpies already on it. They had the Sharpies there.
Okay, and meanwhile, all this is going on. Percussion solo is just going.
Yeah,
Eric
yeah.
Darkin's going crazy. Okay.
And so I'm thinking he gonna just sign one and get back to him. He just went down the line. It was about 3 or 4 of them,
he kept signing.
Yes.
Like
They're like,
I was
what?
waiting for him just to shove a kid up there to sign his forehead.
yes.
Like you tear up the set list. Here we go.
No, exactly. He's just signing whatever, and then they go into after the solo. Sha la la la. He missed that part. He was still signing.
Yes, he was still signing.
He was still signing.
Yeah.
He
Yeah,
had
it was
so
fun.
much
That's
fun.
awesome,
Yes.
man.
He had so much fun, and I gotta tell anyone who goes to these shows and who's listening to this right now, that is the reason why he's still doing this. That above
Right.
anything else.
Yes.
Anything else, because no doctor can prescribe that feeling.
And I'm telling you,
No.
you got to get out to whatever venue you can to even, the next best thing is the Margaritaville, watch it on the TV, the live broadcasts. But if you can get out to a live show, these special moments now with Jimmy, he's not retiring soon, but nobody knows what's in his head, but he's enjoying every moment
See it while
right now. And you can tell the crew, the band, their whole attitude is like, we're involved with something special here, and everybody's appreciating every moment. They're in their little input to what goes on with our machine. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean it's lightning in a bottle when you get particular artists who can tour every year with or without a new album and still sell out the place.
Mm-hmm.
Paul McCartney, Bruce Springsteen, Jimmy Buffett,
Yes.
U2,
Right.
maybe Pearl
Rolling
Jam,
Stones.
Pearl
Dave
Jam,
Matthews,
Yep.
Rolling Stones.
Yep,
That's
yep.
under
That's-
10.
Yeah, under 10.
Okay, and I may have missed a few. So those of you who are like, crazy music people, are you're like, no, you forgot about whatever.
Don't even
Just-
comment.
just
We're
shut
not gonna read it.
Yeah, we're not. I can't. Yeah. So, but it's just
Send
it's
it in
an
with your
amazing thing.
questions.
And then was it one of you guys? Because you walked Jimmy back through the hallway, back
No.
towards the cars. Didn't Jimmy? Someone said Jimmy was like, man, we gotta come.
Yeah, we got to do this again.
We gotta do this on
We
on
gotta do
Saturday.
another Saturday.
Yes.
We got to.
Oh,
Yes, we got to.
Unbelievable.
And
You
that's
know.
going back to the T-shirt. John Hines, our T-shirt guy, he makes the T-shirts, whatever.
Oh, our merch guy,
Merch
Johnny
guy.
Hines, party boy.
And and I guess they were selling some T-shirts, 50 show.
Were they selling them?
Yeah, and then
Oh, a commemorative T-shirt out of merch.
and John Hines comes back there and tells Jimmy before the show. He said, "We just about sold out of T-shirts already."
No kidding.
Show ain't even started.
Yeah, the show hadn't started yet.
That's awesome. I mean,
That could be
that
a
is-
place. Do you think that could be a spot where we do like a Thursday, Saturday?
We,
Oh yeah,
that's what we did
I
when
think
I
the
started.
same people would come
Tell
to
them-
both shows. You wouldn't have to worry about a draw for like
Right.
another
Large,
group of people, right?
14 years ago, 15 years ago,
longer than that.
we went. No, I'm talking about when we did the Cadillacs that night.
Yeah, Cadillac.
It was the bar before they tore it down, and Jimmy went under Freddie and the Fish Sticks, said just put it out there, $5, whoever gets it, gets it. And they had draw-up doors, and it's so many people was out there, the cops were like, no, we're going to, Jimmy, they pulled the doors up and turned it into like a lawn, and it was a,
after the show.
He kind of
hell of a
said that.
show.
I think he mentioned that a little bit in Bing and Bong, where
Yeah.
again, not being around in that era, but they're joking around. They played every little bar and stage in
Yeah.
town
After the show.
After the show, yeah.
I mean, with the waterfront, Boomer Sizer had that one, the waterfront. He used to play that after the show.
Yeah, and I would love to do a Thursday, Saturday.
Yes.
And for the reason why Jimmy doesn't do a lot of the double shows now
gotta
is
fill it up.
he's doing a certain amount of shows over the year, and he still wants to get to certain places.
Places that he hadn't
So if
played,
he does
right?
2 in one city, that's going to leave out a city.
Yep.
Yes.
Right.
Now I know there's some Indianapolis fans and there's some Pittsburgh fans that are a little upset.
Gotta
But
bring it.
first of all, I just got to say, keep it in perspective. This guy has been coming to your city for over 30 years now
Yes.
to do a show.
Show.
Okay, so just because he doesn't go
Miss
to your
one
city
year.
doesn't mean he doesn't like the city. But if you look at the tour schedule, what are we doing different this year? Well, we threw in a St. Louis.
Right.
So maybe that's why we didn't go to Indy. I don't know. That we're doing Toronto. That's when we do what 4 or 5 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
So he tries his best
Last
to get
2 years we did Gulf Shores. We never went down there.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? Sitting places we haven't played before.
yeah, and
And
I'm
nothing's wrong with that.
and I'm told there may be some new places in October, that we may haven't been to in a while. But it's just, I give him a lot of credit for touring every year and trying to get to all the cities he can.
Oh, yeah.
But
Oh, yeah.
but hey, listen, I would. If he did a Thursday, Saturday show, I have a feeling 90% of the people on Thursday would be the same ones that would have found a way to get a ticket for the
Yeah,
Saturday
and
show.
I think also that like on Saturday, you're getting that one show, so they bring it.
They do.
And we play some buildings where we say, hey, this Thursday was like a Saturday. So you just gotta appreciate it. Get out there. Don't complain about what you're not getting. Enjoy what you're getting and come on out, guys.
Well, and I think a lot of it had to, look, it was the 50th show he's ever done at Riverbend.
Wow.
And a 50th sold out show. So the word got around about that as well. But I think more importantly, having that show in Cincinnati on a Saturday. that gave people,
They haven't
ammo
had it in
all
years.
weekend.
You
all
know that.
weekend
All
to,
We
weekend.
haven't done it in years.
to party and recover.
Could you guys from the stage see the fireworks?
Yeah, we
Because they lit fireworks off.
Oh, no,
What song was that?
man,
During-
After
they-
Mac did Little Martha.
okay.
and they had fireworks on both sides. I thought you was gonna have that
Yeah.
one side.
Oh,
It's both sides.
yeah. And speaking of that part, the intermission part, it's really Daphne Blue and the Show
yeah, yeah.
Ponies, Jimmy's acoustic set. This is how excited Jimmy was. He changed the whole set list from there. He got up there and again, spiritual intervention. He gets in front of that Cincinnati crowd, and if the feeling's right, what does he do? He goes into God's own drunk.
And he
Oh,
ain't
yeah.
did that in years.
No.
In years.
He hadn't done that in years.
I think 2011.
Yep.
Yeah.
He went into God's Own
pulled it
Drunk
out.
live, and so for a while there were, I couldn't hear the music. I could just maybe a little bit of the PA system, and I'm going, man, he's talking and pausing and talking and pausing. I'm going, wait a second, is he doing? Yeah, he's doing it,
God's Own Drunk.
and that's a special song when he brings that out. You know, and again, it's a reward and a tip of the hat to the fans out there for all the years and all the energy, because right before showtime, it looked like there were so many people in there that didn't even have seats. Like it looked just jam packed down in there.
It looked like it was like
Hallie, we was on the mic saying, "You see the lawn? It was like it was overpacked.
It looked like it was just like people with no seats.
No seats.
Just standing room
It was
only.
like a general admission crowd.
Yes.
Yeah.
You know, it's interesting. There's certain times of the day where you don't even have to look at a watch or a clock, and you just have a feeling what time of day it is. Like the trucks are empty. It's this time.
Yep.
You know?
Yep.
It's this. I peeked out at one point, and I looked out by the stage and overlooking the lawn, and I saw so many people on the lawn. I'm like, holy shit, what time is it?
Yes.
And it was like the doors had just opened.
Opened
Normally
up.
it's like, they get the first group that rushes in, but it was building up really fast.
Because Lars, they usually like Jimmy and management will be over there, Hallie, because Hallie's over there with Jimmy all the time, and they're saying, "Well, let's
gonna
wait,
hold
make
for
sure
10.
everybody's in." And we came out like Lars said, we came out early and like they already in here.
I thought we were an hour ahead of where we were.
It lasted long. It just threw everything off. It was awesome.
And then they had to try to stretch it out because the fireworks, we can't do the fireworks when it's dark, when it's light outside.
Right.
So you had to wait to get dark.
That's right.
So they had to try to stretch it until it get dark.
Well, and I got to tell you, the people on the lawn really entertained themselves before the show. There was a group of like 40 parrot heads with construction hats with like these wooden plywood painted parrots on their heads, and they're all marching. They're all like a few of them are marching through these giant conga lines, blowing whistles and high-fiving people. Like,
oh my God,
it was
awesome.
Like Wally was back.
I can
his stuff
imagine.
on the stilt work.
It's like Mardi Gras, Halloween, all in one. New Year.
I can imagine that lawn though, man.
Man.
That lawn probably was partying.
And
we
for
went up
people,
there before.
and for people that haven't been to the Cincinnati lawn, it's now AstroTurf.
Yes.
So if
No
you go
grass.
up
The
there
only
before
lawn-
people get in there,
Yep.
it's hot.
Yes.
It's so hot.
And you
they had
slide
them
down that
cooking.
lawn, you burn your skin off your butt.
It's true. I went out in the lawn and I saw some people like sliding down the sides just for fun. They've had a few drinks. I did see a few people opening up pint, like they'd snuck in pints, and they were filling up their sodas and they're just like putting out their I saw one guy like trying to put down a beach towel, and this other guy goes, hey buddy, it's AstroTurf. You're okay. You're not going to need a towel. There's no mud,
No mud.
Big shout out to Mike, the promoter in Cincinnati, Matt, the general manager, and John Alexander, our security coordinator, the whole team out there. When you go into a venue and the whole cast is supportive, they comply with us and give us anything we need, it makes it like a vacation day for us.
Yeah.
And on top of that, the venue was really just completely redone from as far as I could see.
Yeah.
Which it needed. But
Yeah.
they did a really good job they redid the backstage tenting area, which brightened it up. The funniest, they've got a couple new VIP lounges to the side and they've got more room. But the funniest thing was where you sit in that tent behind production in that tent.
It's air now.
Yeah.
A little bit.
You can actually see more of the river now because a lot of the trees are gone.
Oh, yeah.
And I
cut
asked, I
trees
go,
down.
wow, I got a great view of the river on these boats that are docking. Because then after like 4 or 5 o'clock, it became like a giant discotheque.
Oh, yeah.
It was like a rave out
They
there.
were walking from boat to boat.
It was crazy. And I'm watching all this, and I said, what happened? They said, we had one of our guys come out here. He said he saw a beaver. He said that it was the size of a bear.
Oh my
And
God.
he had like halfway chewed through some of these giant trees, so we had to cut them down, which cleared it all out. So now
The trees he was chewing through were probably about 3 feet in diamemer.
Oh my
So no
God.
wonder
That's
they
a
were
big.
big.
and so now
He
our
said he
I
was
mean, a
trying to
big beaver.
dam the entire river.
Yes.
I think that's what he was trying to do.
came up.
That's what
Yeah,
they said. Mother
I got to
Nature.
get a big tree on this one.
Yeah, so I had a great view of the river. The venue looked awesome, and it needed the work. And I got to say, I hope we go back there on a Saturday
Yes.
next year.
Me too.
Large, anything crazy you saw in the parking lot? Crazy costumes?
That really
Costumes are fun, just the characters. I used to attend bars, so I can handle talking to some people that have been into the cups a little bit.
When
But
they talking like this,
and you're like, you can deal with it, and that's all good. But it's also timing, getting out there at the right time. And they were a friendly crowd, funny. They were a real funny crowd. And you'll check out that Margaritaville, and you'll see some of their responses to questions and stuff like that.
Yeah, I gotta say too, over the years when I've gone out in the tailgate in Cincinnati, there's always a few that are like, I've been to this show, I've been to a lot of shows. This is my first time in Cincinnati. It's kind of like the Elvis fan going to Graceland. You know what I mean? Like they've followed Jimmy forever, but we heard this Cincinnati show's been great. And over the years, I've said, yeah, Cincinnati's good, but man, Alpine Valley's my favorite. But I have to say, after this Saturday show, you're reminded why Cincinnati is so special and such a powerful place. I mean, look what it did to Jimmy. It made him just throw the set list out the window and not want to, he wanted to give 200% if he could.
In the band, it makes everybody just want to, perform harder.
Yeah. Did you guys see anything out in the crowd funny?
I saw a Mario guy dressed up like Mario.
From Super Mario?
Yeah, with their gloves and that. I was looking, I was saying, is that Mario? And it was the guy who had a big old white gloves and Mario hat on. I said,
mustache? You have the
mustache and all.
Was there anything tropical about him, or was it just like the straight up?
He had the whole suit on. The shorts. I said, that's got to be wild. Mario at Jimmy Buffett show.
And I did see down in the front row, I don't know how they do it, but, Howard Stern has this whack pack. There's a group of parrot heads that go an orbital level of parrot headism. You had Hollywood. I saw Parrot Head Red. Crystal Williams, who always has the great costumes.
Yep.
She's from Kentucky. She goes to a number of shows. But there's the group, and they've become buddies over the years. And they've got this shared tradition, and it was cool to see them down there dancing and partying.
Oh, yeah.
I mean,
who's the lady that always go?
I don't know.
She was in there. She had on the pink, dressed like the pink parrot. It looked like a Hawaiian lady. And I don't know, that's Jim Mayer's little call.
I know.
To the wild. And when she was doing it, even Jimmy one time looked.
She was doing it the whole night. I was like,
where was she? Down in the crowd?
Yeah, she's down in the pit.
Was it like a cackle, or was she trying to sound like a bird?
How
Jim Mayer does that.
That thing.
Oh, yeah.
She was doing an identical thing, and we were laughing. And
whole night.
And Jim was looking at her like that, so she must be a fan of Jim
All right.
Mayer's.
Yeah.
All right. I'm trying to think of anything else I saw out there. It just a colorful night. Like, it was just, weather was beautiful, and a hell of a show.
No fights, thank God.
Good. No, that's
no incidents.
No, that's a special crowd.
Right.
And what a hell of a show.
That's kind of impressive considering a lot of those people were there since 6 in the morning.
I know.
Oh, yeah.
It is.
So, and it wasn't too hot, but still.
Out early.
Yeah. Good on them. Good party crowd.
And I think another thing had to do with the snake, the temperature. Mm-hmm. Because it wasn't like in the 90s and close to 100. It was in the 80s, nice little breeze. But when we got those 100-degree weather, woo.
Anybody
can.
Anybody.
Yeah, you can misread the damn gauge.
Although you did know. Now tell me, the guy's okay, but what happened in the crowd on your side?
An older gentleman, I jumped over and went into the crowd, and he was having chest pains, and he was like, I'm okay, and the people around him, and I touched him. It's just like you just pulled him out the bathtub, and his wife was like, no, he's not okay. We got to get him help. And I told him, just come on, and I helped him out. And he was like, no, you're not throwing me out. I said, no, sir.
He didn't want to leave the show.
He wanted to go ahead and have a heart attack and be right there and watch the show.
What a way to go.
We got him over there, and the medics, they said he was about to have a heart attack. They treated him, and
good God.
Well, our thoughts
he
are
was so wet.
Get too excited.
And you sweat, but the way he was sweating, Hallie, that was, and his wife said, no, he's not all right. He passed out. We need to get him help. And he was like, I'm fine. You're not throwing me out. I said, fine, just relax.
Well, I mean,
I love this song.
This is my song. He's here on Saturday. Leave me alone.
By the time you walked the tailgate a little bit, say, and walked in, and then how many people on an average day stand up for 3 hours and kind of bebop around?
How many people drink tequila for 7 hours during a course of a day? Like, you need to train.
Yes.
You know what? And people don't
do that.
Yeah, they don't train.
They get their heart rate from 0 to 100. And they start pounding.
Yeah.
And next thing you know, you're going to pass out.
Yeah.
But that guy was ready. He's ready to,
but thank God he's okay, though.
Yeah.
Hell of a show.
Yep.
Yes. And if Jimmy, when he was leaving the stage saying what he did, you could tell he's going to do what he can to make
Look
that
out,
happen.
Cincinnati.
Man, it's gonna be a hard act to follow this.
I know. I know, and here we are outside of Detroit right now. We've got DTE Music Center, which is a big tradition place as well.
Great to play
It's a
there.
cool,
Sound is awesome.
steep shed, fun tailgate,
Yes.
great sound.
Yep.
It'll be a Tuesday night, but I got a feeling with the weather being as good as it's supposed to be tomorrow, it'll be a fun one.
You know, the Detroit people up here, when they get weather, it's summertime.
Yeah.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
They got to enjoy it because it gets cold up
Hey,
here.
you're surrounded by the Great Lakes. There's some
Exactly.
boaters here. There's some
Exactly.
pirates, you know.
Exactly.
We did you guys do anything special on your 2 days off here?
No, nothing too special. Rest most of the time.
Yeah.
You know.
We went out last night.
Yeah, I heard.
We went out last
Called
night.
me around about midnight.
Okay, so here we go. So Sunday night on the tour is normally it is your one off night because you don't have a show Monday, so you can kind of sleep in or figure out where your pants are, your keys, or whatever. I heard Lars this morning go. I was on the phone with him and he's talking. He's like, "Man, where'd I put my pants? Because if I can find my pants, I'll know where my belt is." So we went out with a buddy of ours who lives near here. Because Lars and I are originally from Michigan, and we go to a local bar, like over 68 beers on draft.
Wow.
And so we had a burger. You know, we started drinking some beers, reminiscing, talking, telling stories. It gets to be about
Start talking and drinking, and you're not
drinking
realizing
and
how much
talking.
you're drinking.
Yeah,
Right.
It gets close to 9, and we're going, where's Josh? Where's Josh Vanderslice, who's normally the ringleader of the party crew?
He's the
I'm
Animal
calling
House
his phone,
president.
no answer. Like, well, what the heck's going on? So we thought, let's just go walk back to the hotel. Let's go see if anyone's there, and then we'll head out to. We were given a list of local bars to try out here. So we get to the hotel, and then we realize some people are out by the bus.
Yep.
Right. So when people are out by the bus, we look, and it's Josh, Stan, our video producer, Kib, our video engineer, Will, our cameraman, Corey, our projectionist, White Mike.
But we didn't know that until we got in the bus. It
Yeah.
looked like there could be like 2 or 3 people hanging out having a
Right.
beer.
Yeah.
So of course we're like, we'll go have a beer. We didn't know we were walking into a full-on like bus rave.
Yeah. So the front living room, they were drinking up there, partying.
Kib was dancing. I've never seen Kib dance so much.
Keep dancing.
He was the DJ, and I kept asking about the music, and they're like, "Don't touch it.
Kib
That's
dance.
Kib's, man. Kib's the DJ."
They were playing the Funk Channel.
Oh, yeah.
It was
yeah,
badass,
yeah.
you guys.
He was singing.
It
and
was good.
dancing.
And then you had Josh in the back with Hoover was there, our lighting director.
Oh yeah.
And then we show up, so the three of us. So that was 9:30. Next thing you know, I'm like, I could just tell we're gonna be out here for a while. And look, it's like midnight. I'm going, I gotta call somebody to come out here, you know. Meanwhile, I probably should have just gone to bed at that point. But we're all hanging out. We're going from back lounge to front lounge, getting more beers, laughing. Music's even louder, hanging out. And the next thing you know,
We didn't realize White Mike disappeared for a while.
yeah, White Mike left. We didn't know. We're like, okay, I didn't really think, but at one point, you're like, well, he's been. Oh, I wonder if he just turned in. He's probably done, you know. And White Mike is Josh's normal chaperone. Like they're out, they go out. Those two guys, you know that.
Yeah,
Like
speaking of like Mario, he'd be Luigi.
they're Mario and
Luigi,
Luigi.
yeah.
Yes.
Luigi that chases beer down with Jameson shots. You
Yeah.
know, that's how he rolls. So then we're in the bus, and all of a sudden, White Mike reappears. Go take it from here, Lars.
I just saw him. He had like a little bit. He had a scratch on his face, and his knee was bleeding.
And I'm talking
Oh.
knee, like skinned knee, and he's there. We're like, what?
Did he kiss a badger or did he fall?
That's a stumble.
It was dark on the way out to the bus, between the bus and the hotel, and I think he stumbled and he
Uh-oh.
fell. on
No,
his
that's
knee.
not. No, this is what happened.
The spirit of
This is
Dan
what happened. We're
Brennan.
gonna be real.
I'm not. That's all. I don't know.
Okay, this is what happened. So first of all, he comes in there, and we're looking at him. We're like, we don't even say anything, and he's got like a shiner on his cheekbone that's scratched, and like a really
Blood,
skinned knee, like
Oh, my
big
God.
time. And he goes, Josh, I fell down.
This is my favorite part.
And what did Josh say?
goes, again, Mike?
Again, Mike.
So Kib goes, cuz you should have seen it. We're like, what? I'm out there with White Mike. We're in the parking lot smoking a cigarette because that's why they
No,
left.
'cause
They're out there
he
talking.
gave us his story about how he just kind of fell, and then Kib's like, no, I got the real story because I saw it.
They're talking, and I don't know how long they've been partying. They're smoking cigarettes because they didn't want to smoke cigarettes on the bus. They're talking, and then all of a sudden, Kib feels this weight on him, and it's White Mike's head on his shoulder, and Kip just moves away like, you're just messing with me. And White Mike had passed out and just flattened face in the parking lot.
Oh, my God. He must have locked his knees out, standing still.
So Kip was just like, oh, you're messing with me. And he moves out of the way, and he just watches him fall down like a tree, face first into the parking lot. It's a good thing that's all that happened.
Oh, my God.
Right?
Yeah.
Come back with a nose
broken.
up on his forehead.
Yeah.
He breaks out a big, I think he had a paper towel and alcohol. And one of Josh's buddies looks at him and goes, oh, that's going to feel real good.
Oh, God.
I don't think he felt anything.
He a warrior. He didn't go in.
No, he kept going.
Kept going.
He kept going.
That's a warrior.
We shut it down maybe by 2.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then
I woke up at like 3 in the morning, just like hot. You're like not feeling well because you drank probably too much, not enough water. Like, what's going on with the AC? So I walk over, pitch black in my room. I start hitting the button just to get the temperature down. And I'm just like fumbling around. I get back in my bed. I'm like, finally. And I'm laying there. 2 hours go by, and I wake up hotter than it was before.
I
turned it up to like, was it like 79 or 80 degrees?
Oh, my God.
It was just steaming.
You in the sauna.
I know. It
Instant
might have helped me out.
sweat, huh?
Yeah. I think I sweat it all out.
Dang.
It was a fun night.
It was a fun night. That'll be our one big. Actually, we got a couple nights off in Chicago though.
Yeah, I about came out. I was like, it was like, should I not? Should I? I can work out in the morning.
Yeah, that's true.
And
I
I'm
forgot.
like-
No gym day is Sunday. Monday.
If it wouldn't have been chest day, I would have came.
Okay.
Chest day is hard for me sometimes. I'm trying to lift all this weight. I
That's
can't
going to be my new excuse.
I can respect that. Yeah. Hey, Josh, I can't go out with you, man. It's chest day
Chest day,
tomorrow.
dog.
Oh God.
I don't know if anyone said it, but we're sitting here behind the hotel. They have a little river. I don't know if you can hear the river in the background. If you can,
I think
that's
this
noise.
was the best scenery or should I say, Hakey created a great ambiance out here to do the podcast.
It's a
We
natural
sit right by the
studio.
river.
There's a stream, outside behind this hotel where there's supposedly there's
This
fish
is
in
really
it.
cool.
Yeah.
I know we're sitting under. I feel like Huckleberry Finn. We're sitting underneath this tree here in these like Adirondack chairs, watching the river go by. And you're going,
Got
I could.
a mother
thing
duck.
missing-
ducks.
Only thing missing
baby
is a
ducks.
cocktail, but I don't know if I could drink one at this
I
point.
don't know.
Supposedly, if you catch a fish here, they'll cook it at the hotel.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Or if you kill a duck,
a duck. That'd be interesting.
take a duck up there. Hey,
Like,
I
hey,
got
I
a
got
duck.
this.
Do you guys do duck?
Roast my duck.
Roast this duck.
Well, listen, we've got a few days off coming up here after the Detroit show. Now's about the time we get to some viewer mail, and we got if you want to send any questions in for the Margaritaville podcast, you can send it to @Margarillas or preferably @Margaritaville, #GITP for Gypsies in the Palace. We got 3 questions here, guys, which is good. Let's start off with Rob G. Rob G on let's see, he asks, how many of the crew is this a full-time job? And for those that it's not, what do they do when they're not on tour? Well, it's an interesting question because the Buffett tour is a full-time job, but obviously not full in the sense that we're working out here every day. So there's a few of us that work personally for Jimmy as well, and for Margaritaville, who are associated with the tour. I'll take the lighting guys. They're from Bandit Lights out of Knoxville, Tennessee. 4 or 5 of them. And they, when they're not with us, they might get shipped to go do WWE or go do the Doobie Brothers, depending on what contract Bandit Lights have. We've used Bandits for years. Same with our sound crew, Sound Image. When they're not with our guys, they'll go out with, who did Billy say he was recently with?
I would say for the most, even though they go do other tours and events, the same core group generally comes back. So you know,
Well, Jimmy wants the same guy. Yeah, it's
so
the
you
same.
wouldn't know. You'd think they're just straight full-time guys for
Yeah.
us. It's not like Bandit takes this crew away from us and then they send a whole another group of 3 or 4. We get the same guys back generally.
Well, and especially the sound and the text. That's imperative to keep the consistency there for Jimmy and the crew. They want them back, and then for the lighting guys and a lot of the sound guys, it's kind of a same kind of thing, or also hierarchy. Because this is the tour they want to be on.
Yep.
Because the crew gets treated so well.
Yep.
The boss is so cool.
Everybody gets individual rooms.
Yeah. So, but overall, we got 45 to 50 people, on the tour, and and a majority of them go find another tour to work for when Jimmy's not on the road.
Right.
But you guys, for instance, so you guys train when you go home, correct?
Yep,
Hallie, you
yep.
like actually
I'm
are
a
in
martial
corners
arts
of some
school.
fighters for MMA.
Yep.
Yeah, what's the name of your gym again?
It's a horse racing network.
So like anyone in
MMA.
the Charlotte area could just join your club
Yes.
if they have
Matter of
UFC
fact, I got one of my
dreams.
fighters getting ready to fight in UFC. When I get back, we're going to Mexico. He's fighting in Mexico City.
Huh.
And so I'll be in Mexico City for about like 5 days.
Dang.
You know.
Don't
so-
drink
How's
the
your
water.
Spanish?
Don't drink the water.
No Spanish. No Spanish on monkeys.
He's taking a translator with him.
Monte monkeys.
You're gonna be just fine.
Yeah, you're gonna be perfect.
I'm taking a translator.
For that, you better. I was gonna say too, like our bus driver. I love our bus driver right now, Tyrone.
Tyrone.
So
He's a character.
and going back to these employees, like we got up with him and we were like, who were you just out with? He was out with a Dead and Company. That's where he just came from. So all these guys, they just go on to the next tour. A lot of them.
I'd say a lot of the bus drivers switch out
Different bus
more
drivers.
often than
Yeah.
not.
Senators. They work for senators.
Yep, Senator's coach.
Okay, so I guess I hope that answers the question. All right, from Brian Alexander, does the crew travel straight to the next city or venue, or camp in one city for the week like the band? Very good question. Yes, the crew travels right away. Once the trucks are packed, we go moving on to the next city. It's better to get the stuff there in case there's something wrong with the highway or a truck or a bus has a problem. You want to be in the city with the gear so the show can go on. And I find over the years the band now, they're staying in Chicago this whole leg, but they'll stay at other cities as well. But a lot of times they go to it'll just depend. I know Jimmy likes to be near water, and I think he's going to do some paddle boarding in Lake Michigan, and just depends on their routing, how they want to do, what's going to be more fun for them, and I guess efficient as well. So hope that answers your question there, Brian. Last question. The lovely Kendall Hamilton. If you could only pick one Jimmy Buffett song as your favorite, what would it be and why? Oh, man. Reminds me of a tweet I saw after the Cincinnati show. Some guy typed in, if you don't think A Pirate Looks at 40 is the best show ever written, F you. But he didn't say just
He meant
the
fins
F.
up.
Fins up. That's what he meant. Maybe that's what he meant. No, that's not what it, because he spelled out all the words. Favorite Jimmy Buffett song? Oh, that's a tough one. That's just tough. That's tough. I'll tell you what I've been missing in the set list. I would love them to bring it in. Boat drinks. I think
Boat
there's
drinks.
there's always a place for boat drinks.
Yeah.
I'd like to have that one in the set list right now. That kind of answers your question, Kendall. How about you guys? Is there? I know you can't pick a favorite, but is there
Right.
one you'd like to see in the set list this year that's not in there?
I don't know. I think going back to that live album, where like "Son of a Sailor" kicks in, and you hear it's like the bell going off and stuff. That's pretty strong.
Fruitcakes. Fruitcakes is a good one.
You like that
I
one?
like fruitcakes.
We've seen it only a couple times this year.
Right.
How about you, Charleston?
I like when we play by the water and they do that Dukes on Sunday.
Dukes on Sunday?
That's cool.
I just like that mellow.
It's chill.
Oh yeah, because it makes me think about when we were in Hawaii. So.
Yeah. You know what other song I always try to pitch it? That song from Summer Rental, Turn It Around, the John Candy movie.
Mm-hmm.
That's a fun one. I don't know if a lot of people would recognize that being a Jimmy Buffett song, but it's an upbeat, fun
I like
song.
Greatheart too.
I miss
Greatheart,
Greatheart.
yes.
Boston,
I miss
remember when he opened up
Greatheart.
with that?
Yes,
Yep,
good
yep.
call.
I like that.
That was the opening song on my first tour.
You remember that?
Yes,
Greatheart?
that's
I
so
love
strong.
that.
And it's just great. We got to talk to him. All right. Well,
It's a
those
great build-up
Yep,
too,
yep,
right?
Yeah.
yep.
Those are fun questions.
Who wouldn't want to walk out to that song, right?
Yeah, man. This is like, here we go. We want to thank LandShark Lager for sponsoring the Margaritaville Podcast, Gypsies in the Palace Edition. And we also want to thank Margaritaville Hotel in Key West, Florida. Not only can you go to Key West and visit Margaritaville, you can go stay at Margaritaville now. I haven't stayed there yet, but I'm hoping to make up a business trip to go down there for recon
No doubt.
sometime soon. So thanks for tuning in, everybody. Fins up. Yeah!